find that one weapon that he needed. But it was an interesting boxing lesson he was getting.
And it took place in Atlantic City, January 11th, 1991. Let's go back. So what's left is to get on with it, and both fighters looking like they could be a little bit nervous. This is going to be a case, I think, to get a couple of punches thrown, settle down, settle into the fight, and then see what happens.
And if there's anyone that I think is more susceptible early, it's probably Damiani, because Mercer is the bigger puncher. If he were to land something very big early, we might have a big shock in Damiani going out early.
And you talked about the fact that Damiani might be carrying a little extra poundage, and in all honesty, he looks a little bit soft is the word that comes to mind.
Of course, it's tough to judge. I say that, and I think it's true, but he's always been that way, so maybe it's always been a problem.
Let him out, let him out, let him out.
Well, again, we talk about the fact that the jab is really key in this, and Damiani's history, good left hand.
Like Ray Mercer, as you look down the list of his opponents, there's no one who punches as hard as Ray Mercer in that group, so he'll feel something different tonight.
To emphasize the point about the jab, Damiani's history is that when he is effective with his jab, he does well. But when the other man is effective with his, it takes Damiani's jab away.
And that is what they want Ray Mercer to do in this bout now. Already early, he's kind of ignoring that. And I think, you know, one of the worst things to happen for him may be landing those big left hooks early. It could make him think, I've got to load up, I'll knock him out with one punch. That's been Ray's problem from time to time. They want that stick out there. They want that jab to keep Damiani from doing this, Barry, getting inside where he can throw his little short combinations.
Both fighters a little bit off the mark early.
Damiani will work the body, as will Mercer. Both men are committed to that. There's Mercer digging low.
And if, in fact, Damiani is, as we suspect, perhaps a little soft, body shots are going to tell that.
Mercer is really digging down there as well.
All right, break. Turn him loose. Let him go. Step out. Step out.
This is really a good test for both these men.
It is. They're at the level where they should be fighting each other. Damiani's jab, non-effective so far. Mercer's hasn't been that much better, but Ray's been getting there with bigger power shots so far.
All right, break.
If we're into things like common opponents, there has only been one, Eddie Richardson, who Damiani beat in 10 rounds back in 1987, and Mercer fought 2 years later and knocked out in 1 round.
And that really is a good indication of where their power is. Damiani, the kind of guy that will, against anybody that's a little better, will win a decision more than likely.
Mercer doing more than Damiani in this first round. Quick right hand by Damiani.
That's as good a right hand as Damiani can throw, straight.
Being a weapon, and Mercer not using it a great deal in the first round.
12 of 29 jabs. He landed 47%. Damiani only 8 of 27. 30% landed with the jabs. Excellent advice from Hank Johnson. The jab and those body shots are what will probably get him there, Ray Mercer. The body especially. He really did hurt him to the body. There you see from the punch profile, the numbers, and Ray Mercer with a very good percentage landed.
He needs to throw at least that many jabs. But once again, Damiani's history is that when somebody throws more than 35 jabs in a round, then they can take Damiani's jab away from him. But when they throw less than that, Damiani can be effective. That's, at least coming into this fight, that's what Damiani has done.
And what Damiani does with his jab, Barry, is it's not even that he's always landing it. It helps him get inside where he can then throw these little... See, that's where that jab got him in, so now he's on the inside. He can throw his little shots.
Fight being fought at close range, which it almost seems would favor Damiani.
When he gets in there, I think it would. And some believe that by letting Ray Cooper get closer to him, Ray Mercer made it a tougher fight. Although there's some good shots from outside for Damiani. So after a lackluster first round, Damiani's finding the range now.
Really not much there. Mercer really was chasing Damiani after Damiani got a right hand in fairly close.
And very amateurish move by Ray Mercer, and that's, of course, what they don't like to see from him. He is laying the jab out there, though, Mercer. That's why Damiani is getting in with those counter punches. Ray is laying the jab out, and Fransisco getting in with his counter punches. This is the second round that Damiani wanted, and Mercer didn't, because Damiani is making things happen because Ray Mercer has gotten away from his battle plan, and he is wild in this round. And this round could be a very big confidence builder for Fransisco Damiani. He needed it after the first round here in alien territory.
Yeah, he's fighting right now like a much more confident fighter, and he got there with a combination. Not real damaging, but nonetheless they were there. Time running out in round 2, and a much better round for Damiani, and this fight shaping up as a very tactical one. You know, Magic in Bay St. Louis, watching a fight that took place in January of '91. And at this point in the fight, Al, you and I are sitting there saying, boy, Damiani looks like the guy who's going to win this fight, and he did for a long time.
Yeah, and it would continue through the middle rounds. He would continue to give a boxing lesson, really, to Ray Mercer, and he would continue right up through the 7th round when it looked like Mercer was starting to come on, and that's when some interesting things happened.
Let's move ahead, round 7. Round 7 scheduled for 12. The fight's still there to be had.
Damiani beat Tyrell Biggs, the man who had beaten him in 1984, beat one gold medalist. He'd like to notch another one tonight.
Incidentally, we talked about a little swelling under the left eye of Ray Mercer about 3 rounds ago. It has gotten no worse. In fact, if anything, it might even be a little bit better, and that's credit to Percy Richardson in the corner. And as you can see, the total punches in round number 6, and Damiani still with a much higher percentage and a higher rate of throwing punches.
Very accurate in that last round. Those are 2 superb jabs by Damiani. 2 elements of this fight plan for Ray Mercer, and they've gone out the window, the jab and the body work. You heard Hank Johnson harping on it. Ray Mercer has either been unwilling or unable to make those 2 things work.
And Damiani, you touched upon this earlier, that Mercer would like nothing more than to get him into a real brawl, and Damiani's just not allowing himself to get into that.
And even when he does, Damiani is getting some pretty good results, Barry. Mercer's still trying to find that elusive left hook that he was landing so easily in round 1. When you looked at round 1, you got the feeling Ray Mercer was going to land his power shots easily, and it hasn't happened. And still Damiani working that uppercut on the inside. He discovered that about the 2nd round.
All right, break. Stop punching.
Damiani walked into the left hand from Mercer that time.
Mercer falling back as he delivers the right hand. Ray Mercer's accuracy is abysmal. I mean, he's missing everything he's throwing.
Stop punching.
Just does not look sharp with his punches.
Conversely, Damiani, very sharp. Clashing of the heads going on in this round, too.
When you come to Mercer and punch, he stops. It's been his problem as a pro. If he doesn't get off first, he doesn't get off.
Break, step out, let him go, step out, let him go.
I am sure, even though this fight is certainly within Ray Mercer's grasp, there are many raised eyebrows among boxing fans in the boxing community at what is going on here in Atlantic City right now.
Mercer kind of walked away from that, and I think what happened is he might have gotten a head actually in his chest. Walked away, took a deep breath, and Rudy Battle never did step between him, so he was fair game.
Hard to see any confidence in Ray Mercer's eyes right now.
Step out. Let him go. Corner.
Going to go into Damiani's corner, and he is fighting like a confident fighter. His fans think their man is ahead. And we'll get the translation in his corner.
Come va? Dimmi la verità.
How are you doing?
A me non mi puoi
Tell me
dire
the
le
truth.
bugie, a me mi devi dire
Don't
la
tell me
verità.
the, don't lie to me.
E
How are
allora
you
devi
doing?
alzare il ritmo.
Go faster.
Non è un uomo alla tua portata, lo devi
It's
fermare
not
ogni
a
volta
man.
che si muove.
Every time you move, you have to stop him.
Hai le capacità per fare queste cose, lo
You
devi
can do
fare.
that.
Tell him to be careful of low blows, okay? Watch the low blows. Watch. You speak. Tell him.
And that's not going to get it. I want a combination. 3-punch combination.
Bad right hand.
Swallow that shit.
Meanwhile, in Ray Mercer's corner, I don't think there's exactly panic yet, but there's less than a surety.
We are deep into this bout, and that man has, I think, won nothing since the first round. Now, the judges could see it differently, but whatever, Fransisco Damiani has, I think, imposed his will on Ray Mercer in this bout.
This fight, of course, being carried live to Italy and all over Europe. Damiani, needless to say, a big local hero in this country.
And as we've said, not a man who has engendered a lot of respect on this side of the Atlantic, but tonight going a long way toward that. And you know, some will denigrate, if he would win, they'll denigrate Ray Mercer and say, oh no, he wasn't that good or whatever. But you know what? He's a good young heavyweight on his way up and close to the top. And if Damiani should continue with a performance like this, take nothing away from him.
All right, break. Stop punching. Let him go. Step back.
Damiani is one of those guys you have the feeling that everybody's going to want to fight because he looks like he should be beatable.
Absolutely.
All right, break. Let him go. Stop punching. Step back.
Well, there was talk of Bruce Seldon being the opponent that would get in against Mercer, perhaps. But hey, why not against Damiani if he would win? And of course, we're not counting out Ray Mercer by any stretch. He's a powerful young man who, even in the last round, landed a right to body that looked like it hurt Damiani. But Ray had better pick up the gas, step on the gas here.
And again, I hasten to point out that he did have a tough time with Bert Cooper, who cuffed him around a little bit, and he had to suck it up to win in the late rounds.
That's right. Step back. Keep him up.
The bad news here is that Ray Mercer's pushing his punches. And if you're doing that, you're not going to land that big knockout punch. Damiani's punches are a lot crisper right now. And Mercer's going backwards. He's not coming forward. He's not looking like he's a big puncher stalking his prey for the knockout. No.
Well, I think the reason for that is he's earned Damiani's respect. Or Damiani's earned his respect, I should say, because when he has come forward, Damiani's tagged him.
And look at them. And, you know, it goes back to the battle of the jabs. You mentioned it at the beginning. Good hook by Damiani. Wow.
Damiani clearly the best of that.
And all those punches by Mercer were pushed punches. He did not get any leverage into it. You can see evidence of a number of things here. One, that Damiani is not a huge puncher. He's landed tremendous shots. And Ray Mercer hasn't gone anywhere. Now Mercer, we've acknowledged, is a tough guy, but still, those are big punches. Hey, Ray Mercer's backing up now. That's not his game. He is not a boxer. He is a slugger. If he keeps backing up, he will never win this fight.
Coming to the end of the 8th round, and Damiani clearly taking control.
Precious to Ray Mercer. He's got 12 minutes left to make some dramatic things happen.
And he's given no indication that he's going to be able to do that, because anytime he tries to do something dramatic, he actually gets beat.
Break. Let him go. Break.
Desperation, even in the cheering of some of the Ray Mercer supporters here, there's starting to be more of getting away from way to go, Ray, to you got to do this, Ray.
Well, yeah, I think they're stunned by what's happened here. Damiani has shown much better boxing skills than many thought he had, and Ray Mercer has not been able, since that first round, to land anything of terrific note. 10 tentative. Ray's very, very tentative. Look, he's boxing. Now, that time, he was able to get that left hook in because he moved, but in general, that is not his game plan. That is not the way Ray Mercer wins bouts.
And it becomes apparent, too, that one punch isn't going to get Damiani out of there. It's not easy to say.
It's even harder for Ray Mercer to do.
Let him go, let him go.
And the power edge we talked about with Ray Mercer, I think, gets minimized as this fight goes on. And as we see him pushing his punches, even all those jabs, there's nothing on those jabs. And he's also not following it with anything. Whereas Damiani's jab, which we just saw, has a lot more sting to it. A
very good jab. And here again, I think it's worth mentioning that this does not appear to be a case of what Mercer isn't doing. It's what Damiani is doing.
Break, let him go. Break, step out.
Damiani is boxing superbly. Look at that. Superb combinations. And when Mercer's in this position, he can't land. And part of it is because he's so close to Damiani. It's not where Ray gets his best leverage.
Nice body shot by Damiani there with the right hand. And a glancing blow. I didn't think that was a big shot at all. And Damiani goes down and is given no indication of getting up.
He got it in the eye, I think. Wow. My goodness.
That's it. A huge cut. Broke his nose. I'm sure that's what happened.
Nowhere.
Bleeding profusely from the nose. It was not a particularly big punch, I don't believe. It's just where it was, more than what it was. And the most dramatic turnaround I've seen in a long time.
Astonishing. Ray Mercer with a half uppercut, half hook. Knocking Damiani out at a moment when, for all the world, he looked to be in desperate trouble. It's been a night of some strange doings. This the strangest. You can theorize, and probably it's true, he simply broke his nose with that shot, and it simply was too painful for Fransisco Damiani.
I'm sure that's exactly what happened. I don't profess to be a doctor, but in this case, I feel pretty certain that that's what happened.
Wow. I mean, that is...
Horse races by a nose, but I never knew that you won fights by a nose, and in fact, Ray Mercer did.
In this case, he did by breaking Fransisco Damiani's nose with the left uppercut, and there's the best punch Ray Mercer has ever thrown.
Yeah, you know, you start looking back on a guy's career, and he really has had a roller coaster career. Well, perhaps he started back on an up tonight. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about what we saw from Ray Mercer on this Thursday night.